Good morning students and welcome to one more session of personality development and communication skills classes. So in our yesterday's class we have discussed about what is communication, what are its different patterns, why is it necessary, what are the barriers to communication and the process of communication. So we'll continue our discussion with the next part, that is the different types of communication. So we all know that we have three basic types of communication. It is written, oral, and the third part, the body language. So today we'll discuss about some forms of written communication. So you know what is written communication. So any communication or message which is delivered in writing, in words, is written communication. It is done to give information, to exchange ideas, to make reports, a proposal for a new project, to give information of a person, that is a resume or a biodata, for advertisement, and so on. So the different forms of written communications are reports, resumes, technical proposals, advertisements, agendas, minutes, notices, business correspondence, that is letter writing, research papers, handbooks, and manuals. So we'll study today the first two forms of written communication. So reports. What are reports? Reports are detailed information about queries, about any topic, field, or maybe a machine, or maybe some investigation. So it is about details about something, so that it will facilitate us to know the truth or to decide any new project or venture, or to upgrade something which is already existing. So it is a written communication to a fuller extent which is useful for product launch, to study existing procedures and practices. It facilitates decision making, investigates truths, and so it is one of the major professional communication extensively used in different industries, fields, and streams. So whether it is private, public, whether it is crime, it is about business, everywhere reports are recommended, and the recommendations given by the reports have been used to take decisions, to upgrade things, to find out truth, and thereby give judgments. So we have different types of reports. So to sum up a few, we have periodic reports. So reports which are generated every now and then. Every now in the sense periodically. Say for example, a company doing business asks its finance departments to give periodic reports about its financial status. Say quarterly they make reports to see how good they are standing, what is their financial position, is there any loophole or something like that. So periodic reports means reports which are generated every with a lapse of certain period, maybe quarterly, yearly, or say 6 months, based on the need. The next is the interim reports. The interim reports, the name itself tells us it is something in between. It is like an interval. So say for example there is a particular project going on, or there is a investigation going on, and there is a stipulated time for that investigation. So say the process for doing the report is lengthy, then in between, say half the way around, a report is generated, so we call it as an interim report. So something before completion of something, midway you are making a report about what is happening, that is called as interim report. Next, progress report. Progress reports tells about what progress has been done. It may be about the performance of individuals, their status say a time ago, and what improvement have been done in the short period of time. Then one more type of a report is inspection report. So inspection report means a report made when some superior authority has come to check or inspect something. So it will tell about, say, anything is lacking, something is going wrong. All such things will be written or updated here. Then completion report, it is, say, interim report is prepared when the task is half the way around, but completion report is prepared when everything is done and you finally say that the project is completed or task is completed. Status report. Status reports tells about, say, when there are lengthy projects, every now and then the superiors may ask the subordinates to tell about what is the status of the project. Every month, maybe you can say it is a periodic report also. Then how is a report prepared? So reports, to make a report, first and foremost we need data. Now what is a data? Data means information. It may be quantitative or qualitative. So data should be collected. For that you may personally meet people and collect the data, or ask them through a set of questions which you call it as a questionnaire. So the data collection is very important step to generate a report. Without any data and proper information, we can't do any recommendations or write anything about any event or any topic. So data collection can be done by primary sources, that is personal interview or a questionnaire. So a questionnaire is a list of questions with or without options, and they are being filled by the respondents, and based on that the data is collected and analyzed to make the reports. Then structure of a report. Now you may have made your project reports or say assignment reports. So we have a particular format when we make a report. So the format of a report has three major parts: the front matter, the body matter, and the back matter, means which includes the cover, the title page, acknowledgement, table of contents, abstract, and summary. So cover is about the topic, who are the participants. The title page will talk about the details of the topic of investigation or report, who has prepared, to whom it is submitted, what is the institution, and so on. Acknowledgement means you are thanking the people who have helped you to make the report or collect the data. Then there will be a table of contents, which will be an index for all the details of materials, photographs, charts which you have imbibed in the report. Next is abstract and content or summary. Abstract and summary, which is a gist of the total report. So it will tell about what is the report, what are the findings, and the conclusion. It is, in short, you can say a glimpse of all those things which is done in detail in the body matter. So by reading the abstract, one can know what has been done and what conclusions or analysis is being done within a few lines. Then the second major part is the body matter, which includes introduction, description, conclusion, and recommendation. So introduction about the topic, from where data is connected, what was the objective of the study, how was it collected, how was it analyzed, what are the tools used. So the introduction, wherein the description about what all attempts have been done, how it has been discussed and discovered. Then what was the observation and conclusion of finding out all the data. And finally, if recommendations any are being suggested, and thus the report's body matter comes to an end. Then at the back you have an appendix which tells about certain keywords which appear in a particular page number. Then the list of references means the people who have helped you, or maybe all the details from where the details of the information have been collected. So bibliography, glossary, indexes will tell about the different charts, words, say articles, books from where references have been taken. So this is the structure of the report. So next major form of written communication which is necessary for you to study, which will help you in your career management and employment, is resume and biodata. So resume and biodata we may use interchangeably, but they are not the same. Resume is a condensed form of a job applicant's qualifications and reference experience, whereas biodata is a more detailed aspect of an individual which includes sex, marital status, languages, family known, in detail view of the skill sets, extracurricular activities and so on. So resume is a, you can say, a very brief view of a person's, and it is very specified to that particular job application, qualification and experience. It doesn't consider each and every details, each and every qualification, skills of an individual. So to make a good resume we should follow certain tips. It should not be more than 2 pages. The font size should not be less than 10. You have to avoid italics, script and underlined words. So it should be in a normal Arial format. You have to get a printout only on one side of the paper. You shouldn't fold or staple the paper. Then the resume has to be in a particular structure. So in the first part you should write your name, then your address, your contact number, email ID, web address if any. Then the second part should contain the details of education, and it should tell about the degree which you have finished the more recently. So it's like, for example, if you have done your masters, the masters, its details will be done with the name of the institution where you have done, the percentage of marks and the passing year. Then will come your bachelor's degree, institution, marks, then say 12th, 10th and so on. So the education details should be in detail regarding the institution, the marks, the degree, and start with the most recent one. Then if prior experience is there, even those details should be given. Also those experience should be given based on the earliest date, means the last job you have done should be written first, then after that any job before that last job. So it should be in a reverse chronological order. Also you can include any special skills, if any, which are needed or relevant to the job you are applying. Say for example you are applying for a front office job. So other than your normal degree, you may need computer knowledge, maybe you may need some soft skills training. So that special skills you can write the details about it. And if that special skill is not related to the job you are applying to, you need not to mention it. And the third part is about giving references. Giving references means you can give the name and address or number of that person to whom the new company wants to talk before giving you an appointment. Then we have 2 types of resumes. One is called as the chronological resume and another one called as a functional resume. So chronological, the name tells you, chronology means according to the dates. So normally what we do is that resumes are prepared on a reverse chronological order. Just now I told you that we are going to write the degree which you have passed recently. Say for example, the masters will come first, then the bachelor's, then 12th, 10th. Similarly, prior experience, the most recent job will come first, and so on. So we are going to write our educational and experience details in a reverse chronological order, means that date which is more recent should be appearing first. So this is called as chronological resume. One more type of a resume is functional resume. It emphasizes more on the roles and responsibilities that the applicant has played before. So this is best for people who are frequent job hoppers or the freshers who don't have prior experience. So when a person who is constantly jumping from the job, he need not to give details about his qualification or experience. Rather, he is giving details about in which company what role and responsibility has played. Also, this functional resume is useful for those without any prior experience, that is for freshers. Then I told you that other than resume, we can also make biodata. So biodata is a more lengthy form of our personal details. It doesn't deal with only those skills needed for a particular job. It is the all details that you have. It is right from your name, sex, marital status, say about your family, about extracurricular activities, skill sets, the different, if you say skill sets, then maybe you have written some papers, gone to some seminars, every detail, written books, had some training program. So everything, whatever you have done personally, your academics, non-academics, achievements, award, every detail is given in a biodata, and so it is a very lengthy form and it can't be done in one or two. So it is not a shortcut way. It is not those information only which is required for a particular job. It is a more detailed and elaborate information about one person, the language is known, everything, hobbies and so on. So this is all about resume, biodata and project reports. So the next form of written communication, that is technical proposals, ads, notices, minutes, we'll study in our next class. So I hope you have understood it. Do comment for any queries. Like, subscribe my channel so that you can get the notification for the next video. So that's all for today. Have a good day. Bye. Thank you.